Today's May 1st. If nothing else, I know that May 1st is the date on a major bond that has interest payment due. That is, in and of itself, evidence of long term human trafficking, including now, it seems, human trafficking that was conspired to commit to, if nothing else, the 2008 presidential and congressional election season. And there were certain means that were intended for operationalization in order to see it through, so to speak. And it appears that the intent to commit to this conspiracy has been comprehensive and maintained, including through the actual composition and implementation of a contract scheme not exclusive to the Department of Defense. But the effectiveness of that particular contract apparently was able to be accomplished through abuse of the contract system. Now, I've just presented information. I cut it off at 22 to 23 seconds before the end. I think absolutely not pretty much holds. Just be mindful, whoever you are and whatever your name is, even if it's got a specific kind of demographic association and or it has or has not yet been determined to be legal tender for the purposes of digital financing, presumably you are trying to purport yourself to represent the people of the United States. So even if you are temporarily in situs, on site, and or on a specific letterhead, you had certain responsibilities to assure that things got cut off today, before today, substantially before today. Now, some things that have been realized as I'm listening to this are a couple of things that I just want to clarify. Insofar as there was an intercession of me and a person representing themselves as, if nothing else, a former employee of the Department of State who was also licensed to practice law and a member of an active bar association, both times they knew I had information on a terrorist attack I'd been witness to. And both times I was aware that by the time I encountered them in connection with events that had already transpired, something had put me into a systematology where I had an accounting association with the former Speaker of the House, Dennis Hastert. That leads me to believe that when I was taken on a walking tour of the bayou, it was not shown the area where the statue of the president was, but was instead shown the area where the statue of James Baker was, that this had a very specific inference. And so when I told that person that I was accessing information that did not appear to resonate with the kind of information he was accessing, by virtue of him having identified himself in the manner he did, he had a duty to assure that I was put into a means by which I could check in with the appropriate command. And that is not what he did. Instead, he attempted again for the second time to compel me into an act of prostitution. The concern regarding why it was that I specifically informed him I was accessing information that he did not appear to have had to do with the conflict of interest presented by the appearance of currents connected to former Congressman Tom DeLay. And this brings up the situation regarding the fact that while I was in Illinois prior to encountering these two individuals, I was on site at a detention center in an area that would have been under the authority geographically of former Congressman Dennis Hastert. That's also in an area connected to an industrial zone wherein a contractor of alleged cybersecurity services for the Turkish military resides. you're not authorized for anything more. Now, if you thought that you could participate in a process where you slandered American citizens, including former members of the United States that attempted to run for Congress, by underwriting that they were child sex predators in order to shame me into agreeing to let you then swap out the party affiliation so that you could maintain this process, then you have to have understood there were consequences and that your refusal to identify yourself in a chain of command and to establish that you were authorized by the people through the contract you have with the people called the Constitution to do so means you do not have the authority. You are a hostile. You are actively seeking to undermine the government of the people of the United States, and you need to be deposed. Period.